The immigration hall is never quiet. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. Your phone's at 3% battery. Your flight landed an hour ago and you just want to get out of this airport. Then you hear it. Next, you step forward. The officer looks up, makes brief eye contact, and in that split second, you realize this moment can go one of two ways. Either you walk out in 5 minutes, or you spend the next hour in a back room answering questions while they decide if your story adds up. I've watched both scenarios play out more times than I can count. The travelers who breeze through versus the ones pulled aside for additional screening. The difference isn't luck. It's knowing exactly what these 10 questions really mean and how to answer them without raising a single red flag. Say too much and you sound rehearsed. Say too little and they start digging. But once you understand the system, you stop feeling like a suspect and start moving like someone who belongs. Let's break it down. Question 1. May I see your passport? It sounds like the most basic request in the world, and yet, this is where first impressions are made or destroyed. Picture this. The officer asks for your passport. You freeze for a second, then start digging through your bag. Papers spill out. Your wallet drops. You're apologizing, laughing nervously, saying, "Sorry, just a second, I know it's here somewhere." In those 15 seconds of chaos, you've already told them something important. You're unprepared, and unprepared travelers get extra attention. Here's the thing. They're not just checking a document. They're checking you, how you move, how quickly you respond, whether your hands shake or your voice cracks. Keep your passport accessible, not buried under 3 layers of clothing and airport snacks. When they ask, hand it over smoothly, calmly. You can say, "Here you go," or just offer it with a slight nod. One more detail that matters more than it should. Hold your passport by the edge when you hand it over, cover facing them. It's a small gesture, but it signals you've done this before. And looking like you've done this before, that's your first line of defense. Question 2. How long do you intend to stay? This isn't small talk. Every country tracks visitor patterns. They're measuring whether you sound certain about your plans or whether you sound like someone who's figuring it out as they go. I've stood behind travelers who answered this question like they were negotiating a contract. Well, probably 2 weeks, maybe 10 days. Depends on how things go. My friend might extend the invitation, so possibly longer. The officer's expression doesn't change, but the questions start multiplying. Where is your friend located? What do they do? How long have you known them? What started as a simple question just became an interrogation. Here's what experienced travelers do. They give a number and stop talking. 10 days, 2 weeks, 1 week, that's it. No qualifiers, no maybes, no it depends. If you're genuinely uncertain, round to the nearest week. About 2 weeks works. What doesn't work is sounding like you don't actually know why you're there or when you're leaving. Because uncertainty, even just a flicker of it, that's what they're trained to spot. And once they spot it, the conversation changes. Question 3. What's the purpose of your visit? Here's where the tone can shift from routine to suspicious in about 3 seconds. The officer asks, "What brings you here?" And you think you're being helpful by explaining everything. "I'm visiting friends. Well, one friend mainly. We met online, actually. She lives about 2 hours north. And I might also do some sightseeing. Check out the museums." Stop. You just gave them 5 follow-up questions. Where exactly does this friend live? How did you meet online? What's the friend's full name? Do you have their address? When was the last time you saw them in person? Suddenly, what should have been a 10-second exchange becomes a full interview, and everyone behind you in line is mentally cursing your existence. Your visa type should match your stated purpose. Tourist visa, say vacation or tourism. Business visa, business conference or client meetings. Student visa, university exchange, or language program. 1 category, 1 sentence. Then stop talking. Here's what most people don't know. The officer can already see your flight details, your hotel bookings, sometimes even your visa application. They're not asking because they don't know. They're testing whether you know and whether your answer matches the data already on their screen. Answer clearly and they move on. Hesitate or over-explain, and you might meet that little door to the side labeled secondary inspection. Trust me, you don't want to see what's behind that door. Question 4. What do you do for work? It sounds casual. It's not. Your employment status tells a story. Stable job means roots, means you're likely going home. Student means you're learning, not escaping. Unemployed means they want to understand how you're funding this trip and why you're not home looking for work. This is profiling by logic, not bias. And it happens at every airport, in every country. I watched someone destroy their own immigration interview in Tokyo by saying, "I just quit my job to travel for a while, figure out what's next, you know." The questions that followed lasted 20 minutes. They wanted to see bank statements, proof of onward travel, return ticket details, accommodation for every night. What should have been a smooth entry became an ordeal. Here's the play. State your occupation clearly and stop. Teacher, software engineer, marketing manager, student. That's the full answer. If you're between jobs, frame it with structure. I recently finished a contract in accounting, taking a short break before my next role. That sounds controlled, intentional. Not, I'm unemployed and wandering, retired. Just say retired. They'll move on. The key is this. They don't care about your career path. They care whether your trip makes sense given your circumstances. Give them that reassurance in one calm sentence, and you're through. Question 5. Are you traveling alone? Simple question. But here's what's actually happening. They already know the answer. Your seat assignment is in the system. Your booking shows whether you checked in solo or with someone. If you bought tickets together, they can see that too. This isn't a question. It's a test of consistency. If you're solo, say it clearly. Yes, I'm traveling alone. If you're not, I'm traveling with my sister, or I'm with a friend. Then stop. Don't add their name. Don't explain how you met. Don't offer the story of your friendship or your travel history together. I've seen people volunteer information nobody asked for and watched it backfire in real time. I'm traveling alone, but I'm meeting some people I know from online. Suddenly, the officer wants to know who these people are, where you met them, whether you've met in person before. Here's the psychology. They're not judging you for traveling solo. Half the people in that terminal are flying alone. What they're watching for is whether your story stays consistent and whether your body language matches your words. If your answer changes tone, if you hesitate, if your eyes dart away for a second, that's when they lean in closer. Traveling alone isn't suspicious. Acting like it's suspicious, that's what gets you flagged. Question 6. Do you have any family here? It sounds friendly, almost conversational. It's not. They're measuring your ties to the country, how likely you are to overstay your visa, disappear into a city, and never leave. Family connections mean stronger incentive to stay. It's not judgment, it's risk assessment. No family. No, I don't. Then stop talking. Have family. Yes, my cousin lives here. Or, my sister works in the city. That's it. Surface level. They don't need your family tree, your cousin's occupation, or how close you are. But here's where travelers mess up. They think adding detail makes them sound more credible. No family. But I do have a friend who... Or, yes, my uncle lives here. He's been here for 15 years, works in construction, actually helped build. You just opened 3 doors they didn't ask you to open. If they want more information, where your family lives, what they do, they'll ask. Until then, give them the minimum that answers the question. Your tone here matters more than the content. Whether your answer is yes or no, say it steadily, calmly. Because what they're really listening for isn't the answer itself. It's whether you sound certain about it. Question 7. Have you been to this country before? This one feels like a trap, even though it isn't. Because here's what's happening behind that screen. Your entire travel history is logged. Every entry, every exit, every stamp, and every passport you've ever held. They already know if you've been here. The question is whether you know, and whether your memory matches their records. First visit. No, this is my first time. Returning. Yes, I was here last summer. Or, I visited 2 years ago for business. You don't need exact dates. General time frame works. What doesn't work is hesitating, looking up like you're trying to remember or saying, I think so. Countries flag returning travelers who previously overstayed or violated visa rules. So if there's something in your history, they're already looking at it. Your answer needs to align with what they're seeing. I watched someone in Portugal try to claim it was their first visit when the system clearly showed 3 previous entries. The officer didn't argue, just asked more questions, checked more screens. What should have taken 2 minutes took 30. If you travel frequently and genuinely can't recall every trip, it's fine to say, "Yes, I've been here a few times for work. I travel quite a bit." That sounds better than guessing a date and getting it wrong. Because here's the thing about immigration. They use your tone more than your words to decide if something's off. Answer calmly, hold eye contact, and move on. It's not about your travel history. It's about whether you can talk about it without looking like you're hiding something. Question 8. Do you have anything to declare? It sounds bureaucratic, boring even, until you realize this is where more travelers get into serious trouble than anywhere else in the airport. Customs regulations are not suggestions. Countries restrict imports for actual reasons: agriculture protection, security, public health. And when officers ask this question, they're not accusing you of smuggling. They're checking whether you understand the rules and whether you're willing to follow them. Nothing to declare, "No, I don't." Say it clearly, calmly. Have items. "Yes, I have some items to declare." Then let them guide you. Do not, and I cannot stress this enough, do not make jokes. Just my sparkling personality has never gotten a laugh, and it will absolutely get you a full bag search while everyone behind you silently judges your life choices. Here's what catches people. They don't know what counts as declarable. Large amounts of cash, expensive electronics you're bringing as gifts, certain foods, prescription medications, alcohol or tobacco over the limit, anything you plan to sell. If you're unsure, declare it. The penalty for not declaring something is always worse than the minor inconvenience of declaring it. Keep prescription meds in original packaging with your name on the label. Most countries allow personal medication, but having it properly labeled prevents unnecessary questions. Honesty, spoken calmly, clears you faster than any excuse ever will. Question 9. Where will you be staying? Sounds simple. It's not. Because your accommodation information is often already linked to your visa application or arrival card. They're checking if you know your own plans and if your answer matches the data they're looking at. Hotel. I'm staying at the Marriott in Manhattan. Or the Pacific Hotel downtown. With people. I'm staying with my cousin in Toronto. Or with friends in Brooklyn. You don't need street addresses unless they ask. Just the name and general area. But here's where it goes wrong. Somewhere near downtown, I think it's called the Grand something. That signals disorganization. And disorganization reads as uncertainty about your entire trip. I've watched officers' expressions change when travelers can't name their own hotel. The questions multiply. Do you have a reservation? Can you show me the booking? How did you find this hotel? What should have been a 5-second answer becomes a test you're failing in real time. Have your hotel confirmation easily accessible on your phone. Not because they'll always ask for it, but because being able to pull it up immediately shows you're prepared, and preparation signals control. If you're staying multiple places, mention where you're staying first. The Hilton for 3 nights, then an Airbnb in Queens. Clear, organized, no hesitation. Because nothing makes an immigration officer more suspicious than a traveler who seems unsure about where they're actually going. Question 10. Can I see your return ticket or onward travel? This is the final checkpoint, the moment that decides whether your story feels legitimate or suspicious. Can I see your return ticket? It's not just paperwork, it's proof that you're planning to leave. Every major country, US, UK, Canada, Australia, all of them, uses this to filter for potential overstays. No return ticket equals possible intention to stay indefinitely, and that triggers an entirely different conversation you don't want to have. If you hesitate here, if you fumble through your phone for 5 minutes, if you say, "I'll book it later," you instantly look uncertain about your intentions. And that can spiral fast. Always have your ticket ready. Printed or digital, doesn't matter. When asked, show it immediately. "Yes, here's my return flight. I'm leaving on the 22nd. Or, I have an onward flight to Singapore." Even if you have a flexible ticket, show it. Immigration doesn't care if you change it later. They just need evidence you have a plan to leave. The twist most travelers don't know. If you're traveling long-term without a fixed return date, some countries still require proof of onward travel to anywhere. Book a cheap refundable ticket to a neighboring country if you need to. It's annoying, but it's the cost of entry. Keep your confirmation in an easy-to-find folder on your phone, or have a printed copy tucked in your passport. Because digging through emails while a line builds behind you and an officer watches you with growing impatience, that's not the energy you want to bring to this moment. Show the ticket, stay calm, and you've officially crossed the invisible line between visitor and welcome guest. You've made it through. 10 questions, 10 opportunities to either breeze through or get pulled aside. But here's the secret nobody tells you. Immigration isn't really about the answers you give. It's about the energy you project. From the second you step up to that counter, they're reading one thing. Are you in control or are you uncertain? Every hesitation, every nervous laugh, every rambling explanation sends a signal. But calm confidence? That's your real passport. You've now seen the 10 questions that quietly shape your journey, and the truth hiding beneath each one. They're not trying to trick you. They're trying to read you. And once you understand the game, you stop feeling like a suspect and start moving like someone who's done this 100 times. Which of these questions makes your heart race a little faster? Drop a comment. I genuinely want to know which one trips people up. And if this guide helped you feel more prepared, share it. Someone you know is about to face these same questions, and they'll thank you for sending this their way. Safe travels. And remember, confidence is your clearance.